Hey, we're Gerald and Tabby, married over 22 years.
And still choosing each other on purpose.
We're definitely better together.
We've been through addictions, infidelity, open adoption, financial crisis, and each other.
She's the drama.
And he's the calm most of the time.
We're not experts, and we're definitely not licensed therapists. But we've learned a lot the hard way, and we're not afraid to talk about it.
For too long, we walked through our struggles alone, but that's not how God designed marriage or life.
This is where we get real about marriage, faith, and the messy stuff no one warns you about after you say, I do.
We call out the bad advice, the fake perfection, and the things that just don't work out in real life. So if you want polished, we're not it.
But if you're looking for honest, then welcome. This is I Still Do.
Ready to start episode 11?
Yeah, very much so.
I think today's going to be a good one because we got, we talk about some judgment and talk about how God goes before us.
Yep.
And we've been experiencing a little bit of judgment.
Yeah, we have.
Lately. We've talked about it a lot.
I think it's just part of I think it's part of everyone's life at some point. You're just going to get judgment. And if we're honest, that's kind of what we're taught by Jesus. Is that the more you try to follow Jesus, the more you're going to get a little hate on you.
Yeah.
I remember I used to tell the teenagers, like,
haters
haters gonna hate. I had a shirt that said haters gonna hate, but I said, it ain't bad to have haters sometimes. It's just the way it is. Some people are just not gonna be your best friends. But when we moved to Houston, and that's where we stopped, right? Mm-hmm. We left Grosbeck. Very emotional. Probably the most emotional thing I've ever done in my life.
Yeah, we had to say goodbye to the guys.
The
group, they all came over, passed Zayden around like a football. Yeah. Oh, that was such an emotional time because
first time I saw
we didn't want to leave them.
In their eyes, tears in our eyes. Like, it was a really weird moment, just us all.
Like, I'd gotten tons of hugs from those boys, but those hugs that day were just like...
Because it's kind of like when you graduate high school, you're like, we'll all keep in touch, but it's like, no, we're all moving in different directions right now.
Yeah.
And this is the way.
We actually all did really keep in touch.
But not like on that same level.
Not on the same level, but we still have relationships.
Level. Going from seeing each other.
It was changing, for sure. It was change. And it was hard change, but it was good change. It was hard because we felt like we were leaving kids behind, and we were. And especially those that were senior year, right? That was really hard because we'd been walking with them since they were freshmen. And we loved them as our own, but then now we had our own child that we did have to think of first, right? Mm-hmm. So that was a hard shift for us because we had been walking and loving these teenagers as our own for so long, and the reality was they're not our own. Yeah. And they had parents and families, and stuff that loved them. And but we were also a very significant part of their lives and advocates for them and mentors and safe spaces. And we struggled with guilt. It was a lot. It was a lot. It was very heavy.
There's a lot of guilt too, but it's also like it's so hard sometimes to leave something into a new adventure,
into the unknown.
And I remember talking to one of them who went to college to play basketball, and he was getting homesick. And I remember the conversation I had. I was like, you have to fight through the homesick, because if you feel called to do this, then you have to do it.
Right.
Right? Because you don't want to keep looking back over your shoulder.
Yeah.
Like, progression is not bad.
You don't want to always wonder what if either.
Yeah.
You can't make permanent decisions off temporary feelings,
Exactly.
So when you're temporarily homesick because it's new, right? But you know that God has this path for you and this plan for you. He wants to teach you things. He wants to get you uncomfortable, right? Because it also allows you to lean and rely on Him. And so if you make the decision like, well, I feel homesick right now, so I'm just going to leave everything and go back home and live the life I already lived. Yeah. Where's the growth in that?
Right.
There's no growth there.
And it's like, where are you going to, when you're walking with God? I remember I pressed into so many things before Jesus, before even like growing up Catholic, all this stuff like this. I pressed into so many things full-fledged. I was like, I want to experience everything I can.
Yeah.
But then when it's like, I accept Jesus, I had that same mentality. I was like, well, I'm going to press in because if this is real, we're fixing to see if it's real.
Yeah.
And
I love that about you.
That's good. It can be a bad thing and
I
a good
know,
thing, right? It's like, I want to try every drug on the planet nope, I want to experience everything Jesus has to offer now.
Well, thank God that you went that way. You know what I mean? It could have been
But it's
worse.
And it's pressing when relationships in our lives, it's kind of like what we say, you get married and then sometimes, you have your parents and you're supposed to leave your parents to go kind of create your own life. That is and that's what to be honest, I was telling a coworker about this. It was like, I had that moment because we had the parade at Baylor and where Zayden's 13 now, and he walked off from me to go spend time with his friends, and I'm kind of standing there by myself, almost fixing to like tear up. I'm like, what has just happened? Mm-hmm. But then...
Well, for those that don't know, because our kids we're a very close-knit family.
Yeah.
So our kids just find comfort in us. We're in a homeschool environment, so there's no embarrassment. Like, everyone goes to school with their mom.
Yeah, but
and
they have this big community.
So, yeah, and so, like, we're always
with.
all around, and so they used to just find so much comfort in standing with us, but now seeing them come into their own. Zinley's not been like Zayden. Zinley's always been like, see ya.
But then...
Because she's just super, like, social. Yeah. But seeing Zayden come into his own and not have to, like, find his comfort in you. Yeah. And he has the comfort in his friends is, like, both, like, obviously emotional. Because you're like, oh, my gosh. He doesn't just always need me. But, oh, my gosh, wow, we've parented him so well. And he's so comfortable with his friends that he can go and just have a wonderful time.
And, while it was kind of a moment for me, and I'm standing back there with three dads, and we're kind of having this talk for a second about this, watching this kind of start happening.
Right.
And then, the next week at football practice, I got there a little late, and Zayden's in his full pads, and then he comes up to me and gives me a sideways hug, and was like, hey, Dad, how was your day? Does it in front of all of his friends, and I'm like, okay, he still needs me. And I think that was like a really good picture of like the way God just treats us too. Mm-hmm. Like we're walking, but we have to come back to the Father.
Yes.
In everything we do. And I think that's where, especially when we hit this time point in our story where we're leaving Grosbeck, which was a very emotional time. We're hooking up with Antioch. And we're kind of connecting with them. We're like, hey, we're moving to Houston. Yeah. We're going to tag along with you guys. Yeah. We're up, what is it? Upheaval in our whole life.
Yeah. And we're getting judgment for it, right?
Some judgment. Like, some people are like, what are you doing?
What are you doing? Why are you doing this? How dare you leave these kids? Look at what you started and now you're leaving.
Some family who, was like, why are you leaving this job? Why are you leaving this stability? And it's like, well... I'm not after stability anymore in my life. I'm after
what God's called us.
The journey with Jesus right now. And whatever that looks like, that's what that looks like.
Right.
And the challenge ahead is what really was motivating us. So whenever, we get the job, I got the job at Amity because I still had to work. Mm-hmm. And God had provided this opportunity. I really believe God provided this opportunity, this relationship within Amity Bank, and I was able to get into Amity Bank. And my first assignment was going to be in Texas City. Yeah. Well, Texas City, go back all the way to my origin story. The last time I was in Texas City, I was in a hotel, and we were smoking laced marijuana. And now... I had this moment where me and you had been like, we got to go check out, drive to Texas City location, make sure I know where it's at and stuff like that. I'm driving, I'm having this moment like, I have not been to this place since then.
Yeah.
And that is a wild moment.
We get there and I'm like, I don't want to live here.
And Texas City's a rough,
It's kind of
little
rough.
area.
It's a little more
It's
rough.
a factory
so,
town and
yeah.
good people though.
Great
but
people.
just really just
It's kind of rough around the edges, I would think.
it's just factory everywhere.
And it just wasn't pretty.
Everywhere.
I like pretty things, y'all. I'm kind of shallow in that area. I'm kind of.
And it's got this constant smell. And anyway.
But.
So I get there.
Yeah.
We drive there, and I'm like, I don't even know where this bank is.
Yeah.
And we finally find it. It's in this little building and stuff like that. So we work out, this is kind of what my parents have taught me. You better write down your time frame and how to get there, what's your route, blah, 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 what's the traffic flow that day, kind of thing. My dad, very big preparer on that.
Yes.
Anyway, so.
My family, not. We were late sometimes.
5 minutes before the movie.
No, 5 minutes after the movie had started. That's when my mom.
Yeah.
This is a funny story. Back in the days where you didn't have assigned seating, we would be late because my mom, I love this about her too, is just very kind of like spur of the moment sometimes. And she'd be like, let's go get a movie. Let's see if one's playing right now. And she would find one and she'd be like, it'd be starting in 10 minutes and we're like 15 minutes away. We're going to be fine. So we would go and me and my sister would have to prepare ourselves for the embarrassment that she was going to cause us because it'd be so dark in that movie and she'd be asking people to move. She'd be like, I know, but we want to sit together. It's okay, you can scoot down. And people would do it.
It's that quiet confidence she had.
I know, but and she was cute about it too. So people were like, oh, this cute little blonde lady is telling, okay.
And then my family's the other way. We're gonna post up an hour before the movie.
Y'all are gonna eat a whole tub of popcorn before it even starts.
We ain't moving. You ain't asking us to move either.
I married into something so radically different from what.
But now we have a middle ground. We get to the movies about 20 minutes early now. So.
Hey, I actually do appreciate that, and I really appreciated when the assigned seating came out. That was the best thing that ever happened.
The best thing ever happened in theaters, but that's a whole nother thing.
Okay.
Back to
the story. You're preparing like your route. We are. We have decided to build a house. We get our bearings straight. We actually decide to move to Dickinson. We pick a place there. We pick a new neighborhood with these little modest homes there that are new. So we were able to pick a floor plan and start building a house, but we had to live in a rent house while that was being built, and that was all in the Dickinson area. Mm-hmm. And so we were practicing the route from there. We were trying to get our bearings straight, like what am I gonna do, because I had been working and I had support in Grosbeck. I had friends, I had teenagers, I had a lot of built-in babysitters that we just left. And so that was a hard and kind of a lonely transition.
It was. I think that's the part of church planning people don't realize that we kind of learned about. It's like even if you're in the States, you move somewhere, those first few months are tough because there's a lot of things going on in the background, and we weren't really in the mix of all the pastoral things. We were kind of there just to say, hey, we're jumping in and do this with you guys.
Yeah,
we don't know what our role is going to be, and they didn't know what our role was going to be. So we kind of, I would say we kind of got left out, not purposely. It was just more or less like they didn't know what.
But it added to the loneliness because it's like, hey, we jumped in to help. We moved our whole life, and we're being excluded from things. And I don't think it was like, it definitely wasn't an intentional, let's exclude Gerald and Tabby. It's just we didn't have pastoral roles at the time or anything, and so I mean it's not that we weren't left out like of the planning meetings or anything like that. It was just kind of more of like we just felt forgotten a little bit.
And we need to talk, so everything's triggering us. We're in a very uncomfortable situation. So I'm being triggered with loneliness, new job. I just left stability. I just left a group of people that accepted us. That we had friendships with. We had all that, right? I fall back into pornography. I have a few days where I'm like, and I have to call Carl, at Triple X Church, and just tell him, hey, this is what's happened, whatever. Carl handles it, like, again, no judgment. He coaches me through it. And one of the things he says is something I tell people to this day. this is new stuff. This is new ground.
Yep.
This is a new place. You weren't ready for this. You didn't build your battle plan. You didn't build, your recovery plan in place. You weren't. This all caught you off guard.
Yeah.
So, and he would say, excuse me, he would say, okay, so now we got to get our shit together.
Yeah.
And we got to move forward.
Right.
So how are we going to do that, Gerald?
Yeah.
And it wasn't, he always wanted immediate action. What are you going to do right now? Like, what's the next thing you're going to do right now? And then, and that's a side note, but then one night we have an order in the food.
Oh my
I didn't
God.
even tell you I was going to bring the story up.
No, that's funny.
So I order the food and everything just blows up, nuclear, over. I'll let you tell you.
Yeah. So I think we ordered Jack in the Box.
Yep. Jalapeno poppers.
We're so tired, right? I am exhausted because I have left the village that I had of support in Grosbeck. I'm in a new space. I know nobody because everyone that helped plant the church is spread out all over Houston. And there's no one close. No one lives where we are. Everyone's at least 20-something minutes away.
We don't trust anybody yet.
We don't trust anybody. I have no community, right? Because church
We have
hasn't
no
started
church
yet.
either.
We don't have a church yet. Because the first service was Christmas Eve. So we're here at the beginning of November, right?
Yep.
And Gerald and I are just stressed to the max. Also, Zayden was a very difficult, non-sleeping, vomiting baby.
Everywhere.
He was a projectile vomiter. We did not realize at the time he had milk allergy. And he did not sleep through the night. He did not like to not be held all the time. It was just a very challenging time, and it was all on me because you're now working, right?
Mm-hmm.
So it's kind of a late night. We're tired. I had a day, and at least Gerald that day did come in and wasn't like, and you've never been like this, but I mean, I would have kind of meals ready to go, or try to, and you could walk in that day, and it was just a day. So we were like, let's just go grab some quick
Well, sometimes
food.
I'd walk in, and I still do it now. I'm like, I'm a little better now about it, but I can kind of feel the mood. I'm like, hey, let's just get something.
Yeah, very helpful. He can tell, too, if there's nothing prepared, or I just have a look about me that I'm just like,
That's something I learned with your Triple X church, too.
Yeah,
so
I'm
anyway.
barely making it today. So anyways, it was a hard day, I think, for both of us. You get Jack in the Box, and I wanted 2 tacos and the jalapeno poppers with ranch.
Yep.
And you go and get the stuff, and he knows my order, right? And he comes back, and we're going through the bag, and there's no ranch.
And we don't have much groceries either.
And we don't have any much groceries because we just moved in.
Yeah.
It's like we've been there maybe a week or 2. I don't know. I don't even know if I had the space and the energy. I don't really remember exactly. But I just look at him and with such disappointment in my face, and I'm like, really? You just couldn't check the bag for sauce? And you're like, something like, is it really that big of a deal? And I'm like, yeah, I don't need jalapeno poppers without the ranch. And then it just like blows up from there, like nuclear. You're like, fine, I'll go get your stupid sauce. And I'm like,
We probably used some other
you're
adjectives
going to
for
go
sure.
get me some sauce. I mean, it was really bad. I think Zayden was asleep at that time in his crib.
I mean, it was...
Yeah.
It
was so
It was
bad.
a moment...
At one point, there was the wrong sauce that was put in there and went flying somewhere, I think.
Yeah. It was like some weird sauce. It was a moment where everything that we had not talked about came out. Like all the stress and all, and that's one of the things we didn't do very good in those days. We did not stop to address these.
How we were feeling.
This is the stress that's happening right now. I'm dealing with a whole new job function. I'm going from a community bank to a corporate bank. There's these different goals and things they wanted us to do. I'm learning a whole new system.
Yeah. And I'm going from community and support to people being over all the time to want to love on me and Zayden and to nothing. Nothing. I had ducks in the backyard that I talked to.
Yeah, so the ducks. I forgot about the ducks.
Which I actually am very thankful for those ducks
Yes.
because it brought me a lot of peace. I'm a bird person. I love birds. So that was a really sweet touch that we lived on a little pond area in the rent house. And those ducks were constantly in there. And it was a sense of joy for Zayden, too, to feed those ducks.
There was just so much of our status was thrown down to zero.
Yeah.
And not that we had like this huge status quo or this status in Grosbeck, but it was a, hey,
well, you went from we were somebody, we were known, to nobody now
I was
again.
Kind of the somebody in a bank. Now I'm nobody.
Right.
I'm just literally a number. And it's kind of what I was telling one of the kids in the football team. It's like, who got promoted. It's like, going to the bench and supporting your team is actually a good thing to walk through, to learn that.
Yeah.
And I had been just kind of escalating in my career. Now I'm all the way down. And I get stuck in Texas City, which I start learning. Texas City is like one of the worst Amity locations in the state.
Right, it's like the armpit of the bank there.
What?
You know, like
that's where I got stuck, and I'm thinking, why?
Like, why are we here?
Why would you do this? Like, this is the worst situation. Yeah. Literally smelling and going, and it was just
and I'm feeling triggered again from being isolated from when I had to move my senior year to Houston, right? So it's another Houston location. I'm like, here I am, back in Houston, isolated again. And I'm like, why am I in Houston again? Only to be further isolated. Like, what are you doing? Thankfully, because I had already known how God uses isolation, I already knew in my spirit, okay, this is for a reason. This is a time that God's going to grow us. But I'm going to throw a fit first. I'm going to be dramatic first about it.
No.
Yeah. Shut up.
But so I get to the bank location, Texas City.
Yeah.
And I get introduced to my new team, and I'm the banking center manager. And then I found out very quickly, because the assistant manager tells me very quickly that she was supposed to be the bank center manager, and I got hired for this. And I'm like, wow, this is a really cool situation I'm walking into.
Yeah,
everybody
hates me.
I think hates me, and they don't even know me yet. So, and I'm like, this is going to be an uphill battle. And so I'm working, sitting there. You're doing your thing. We're pretty much just going through the motions for those first few weeks.
Yeah, and I'm surviving because I have a newborn.
Yeah. We start having some meetings with Antioch and start getting to our team. It starts helping a little bit, but everyone is so busy just trying to figure out what to do.
Well, because everyone's in the same boat of relocating, trying to find their bearings. So we all do find support in that, and it's great people. Like, we love everybody. I do start to meet some moms, and we do start to go on some play dates and stuff in that area, but you're still in the thick of it at Amity, wondering what you're doing there.
So I start doing manager meetings. I'm supposed to be meeting with our team every day about goals and where we're at on leads and different things like that. So this lady named Rita, and she's what they call like a new accounts rep or something like that. Anyway, she's the person I'm meeting with every day. Just, hey, where are we at on this, and this? She is one of the people that calls me out as fast as anybody, like, do you even know what we're doing?
And like, I can literally hear her.
You realize,
do you even know what you're doing, Gerald?
Like, you realize we have to hit these goals to get our bonuses, right? And I'm like, oh, I didn't even know there was bonuses. Like, I'm like totally lost in this situation.
And I'm sure Rita's like scared to death now. She's like,
so
oh
Rita's freaking out. Like, we have just hired a person who is not going to do anything to help us get incentives, because he doesn't even know what he's doing.
I know she's going home at first cursing you out.
Oh, yeah. She hated me at first, probably. She was like, what have we done? And so I'm meeting with her, and I just have to get really honest with her. I'm like, okay, Rita, you're just going to have to help me. Here's the situation. Here's where I'm from. Here's the banking I've done. And she's like, now she's coaching me, and it feels very odd. It's backwards because she's coaching me, but it's a moment where I'm just like, I need your help. I don't know what to do, right? So she
gladly does.
We go back and forth.
She's an amazing human.
Well, here's where it gets kind of funny, because I start meeting with people. She starts bringing me, like, here's a lead, here's this person, meeting these people. And then one day she's like, hey, every person that leaves your office, why are we not closing the deal or getting a lead or anything? She goes, they're just leaving your office. I was like, well, they didn't need anything, you know? And she goes, what? Like, we have to get something. Like, she's like, but what are you doing with them? Because that's what she walks in and like, or she looks at me, and I was praying with this guy. Mm-hmm. And she's like, are you praying with these people? And I was like, well, not all of them, like, but one of them, you know, she saw me, and I was like talking to him. I was like, he was going through a lot. Like, it was something with his daughter was leaving for school, and he was trying to figure out how to buy her a car and stuff like that. And I'd actually recommended him to go down the street to the car dealer because they had a lower interest rate. She goes, why would you do that? And I was like, I don't know. And so we would have these kind of funny arguments, and you would have to know her facial expression. She would just make me feel like, I'm so sorry. I was just trying to help. And she's like, you're not helping the location.
She was so frustrated with you.
Well, we get to know each other, and the relationship kind of keeps going, and we kind of get to know each other really quick, because she's a very blunt person. So yeah. She's always like, where are you from? What's your story? Why are you here? Who hired you? You know, kind of thing. And, but then one day she comes in my office, and we start talking about, was it her son, or was it, what came first, her son or her husband?
I think it's Josh came first.
Yes, Josh came first. So she comes to me because I told her that we'd worked with teenagers, stuff like that.
Yes.
And she had a son who had gotten in trouble at school with some stuff.
Yeah.
And she came to me, she goes, she came to me and she asked me, she goes, hey, I know you worked with teenagers. What do you think about this? And I just gave her I was like, hey, I would love to meet with them, blah, blah, blah. You know, it happens kind of thing. Mm-hmm. Again, we are not people to judge situations, because it's just that judgment can be turned on us pretty quick, you know?
Yeah. And who are we?
Who are we to judge it?
We're not perfect.
So it's like, yeah. It was an open door, a God moment open door, unfortunately, the situation. And it really wasn't that big of a situation in hindsight, to be honest. But it was big for her at that moment.
Yeah.
So we kind of walked through that. I think I visited with them, you know, and we kind of, whatever. She didn't know you yet at this time.
The God moment opening, because you said unfortunately, the unfortunate part was not the God moment. The situation was unfortunate. So I just don't want people to get that.
But then some time passes, and she comes and she goes, hey, we're doing our coaching. And I notice that she's wearing a wedding ring. No. I noticed she said she was married, because I started asking her about it, and she said something about her being married. And I said, oh, I didn't know you were married.
Yeah, because she didn't wear a ring.
She didn't wear a ring. And I was like, and she goes, yeah, I don't tell a lot of people I'm married. And I was like, oh, okay, that's cool. Whatever. And I'm, if you know her personality, I'm like, I want to hear more, because this sounds like a really cool story that I'm fixing to hear. And she tells me, well, her husband's in prison, and she married him in prison. I was like, oh, cool. She goes, and, you know, she goes, something like, what do you think about that, or something. I was like, wow. And I always tell people so many times, it sounds like a cool story, I'd love to hear it.
Yeah.
You know, kind of thing. And so she goes on to tell me the story about it, and how they knew each other when they were young. He had gotten involved in some gang-related things, gotten in trouble, committed a crime, and was in prison for a very long time.
Yeah.
But then they reconnected, and then she had been visiting him in prison, and then they
reconnected because she ran into his sister in the grocery store, or his mom, one of the two.
One of the two, yeah.
Maybe his mom. I can't remember. And so sorry, Rita and Janice and Liberty, for getting all this mixed up. But she ran into one of them at the store, and she asked them, obviously, small talk, how's CJ doing? And they respond, well, you should write him. And she's like, oh, I'm not going to write him, but okay. And so, but she does. So that's how she gets reconnected to him. And they put her on the list to start writing him in prison. And so she was just doing so, like, as a friend. They never, when they knew each other as kids, younger, were just friends. There was never a romantic connection between them.
Well, so all that happened. We start talking, and that opens up a door. Our coaching sessions end up being Bible study sessions. Like, we're not hitting any goals or incentives at all.
And neither is like caring.
And it's become a situation where she's more or less like asking questions like, that's weird, because that's one of her, and I've kind of adopted that phrase now, but that's weird. What do you mean by that? And we're talking about God and why we moved here and the things, and she starts learning about my story. Why did I accept Christ? All these different things. Well, then she starts saying, hey, I was talking to CJ and writing him and telling him. And then I'd start telling you about all this stuff, right? I'm telling you this all the time. And you say something like, what would it be like if a man was sharing stuff with me and not discussing it, without you knowing, or something like that?
Yeah, I was just I said, you were telling me about Rita, and I was like, well, I feel like I need to meet her. I did at the time, but then I was like, because I think she had shared with you that CJ was now a Christian in prison.
Yes.
And he had been wanting her to come to know the Lord. And she was on the fence with it, right? And because she had the mindset because of other family members. She'll tell you this. We're not telling anything that they have not shared publicly.
Right. They have a ministry now, and they share everything.
Yes,
now,
they share everything. They're actually with Antioch Prison Ministry out of Houston, so I highly encourage you to check them out and even support if you feel called, because they are a support ministry. So she's starting to get to know Gerald and starting to learn about Jesus, and she used to say all the time she really didn't know if like CJ's Christianity was like real, because she's like, everybody finds Jesus in prison. She's like, that's all you got, and she's very like, roll your eyes like, okay, yeah, you found Jesus in prison, they all do, and then you get out and then you don't, like, so she's real funny, like that. I love Rita so much. So
well, the other thing we didn't say is her whole family doesn't know she's married.
Oh yeah, that's right. Because she doesn't want to be judged. Married. So again, it comes back to judgment.
Yeah, sorry, forgot that.
And so, anyways, Gerald's telling me these amazing conversations and stuff they're having, and you had said to me, like, I think CJ had been wanting her to come to Christ and stuff, and I'm like, how do you think her husband feels about it being you?
Yeah.
That is sharing. I'm like, maybe she needs to start coming to life group with us. Like, I need to start investing in Rita, and what about you?
Yeah.
Writing CJ and letting him know who you are, because I was worried more about CJ in this moment, because he's away, he's locked up. There's this man that is talking to his wife about Jesus. He's been trying to talk to his wife about Jesus, and she's not receiving it from him, but she's receiving it from you. So I was just very worried about the marriage part of that, because I was like, how would you feel if I was opening up to another man?
Yeah.
And so I think you brought that to Rita. It was great
discernment.
Yeah, because I was like, wait a second.
That's where relationships can get weird.
Yeah.
But then I brought it up to Rita and said, talk to her about it. So that's the point where I think she started texting you.
Yeah,
but then she gave me
up there. I come meet her. And
she gave me the ability to write him.
Yeah.
Through a system they have in the prison system.
Exactly.
So I started writing CJ, and we started writing back and forth. Well, then I was like, man, I really would like to meet him. Can I just go visit him? And Rita's like, no, you can't just go visit him. Like, there's 5 people or 4 people on the list, and that's all they can do. I was like, oh, well, that sucks. Like, she goes, but there is a ministry that goes in there called Charmed, and it's a sports ministry, and they go in there to play basketball and hang out with them and do a church service. I was like,
you're like, oh
great.
My gosh, basketball.
I love basketball. Everything around me, if basketball's included, it's always like
we always know it's a God thing.
Anyway, so I was like, oh yeah, for sure. So fast forward, I get hooked up with Charmed. I start reaching out to them. I get signed up with Charmed immediately. They're like, why are you signing up so quickly? Why are you trying to fast track this? I was like, I'm trying to get to Darrington Unit on this date.
I want to see CJ.
I want to see CJ. This is why. And then they were like, well, usually if there's some ties to people, we really don't do that. If you have some relationship. I was like, well, I don't know CJ at all. I've never met him, and I don't really have a deep tie to this whole family. This is the whole story.
Yeah.
That we're ministering.
This
and we're
is what God is calling us to do.
So they let me go into the prison system, and at this point, Rita's like, what are you doing? Like, now you're
Yeah.
going into the prison system.
But she's
like, what
also
are you doing?
excited because she's
Yeah.
feeling very seen, right? And she's feeling like you haven't judged her. Now you're willing to go into
Yeah.
prison to meet her husband.
Yeah.
And we've really developed a great bond, me and Rita, and very close at
Yeah.
this point. Close with her kids. She's close with Zayden.
Well, we
her,
we launched our own life group,
Yeah,
not even
and
with the church. We just started doing our
we
own
just started
life
doing
group.
it our own, and it's basically all of Rita's family. And
Rita's in-laws family. Remember,
Yeah.
they're not, her family's not coming yet because,
are they not? I thought her
no,
mom started
because
coming.
then we started praying about how to tell her family.
Oh, that's right. That's right. Yeah, so it's Rita and
Yeah.
then CJ's mom. And yeah,
And then I actually went and met Buddy,
CJ's dad.
CJ's dad. He didn't go to church, but I went to their house once and met him.
Yeah.
And
So
therefore,
it was a whole thing.
it was a whole thing. There's a whole lot of stuff going on in that moment. And so therefore I go to Charmed, I go into the prison, and it's very intimidating if you've ever went to prison ministry at first. It's just the whole system, the whole training you have to do, the process you have to go
Check-in,
through,
yeah.
check-ins you have to go through, right? And you go in, and I'm going in, and we all have to go through this hallway, and there's a kind of a gymnasium area where they set up basketball goals and stuff like that. And everyone is cheering, like all the prisoners who are in there who have gotten to be in this program. They're all Christians. They're all going through Bible studies. They're all going to church services, stuff like that. Say what you will, but people do experience Jesus in prison. Now, they may lose it when they get out, but there's a whole reason why, too. And we'll get into that later. But we get there, I get in there, and immediately CJ connects eyes with me and like walks up to me, and I'm walking up to him, and it's like slow motion, like, oh my gosh, what am I going to expect? Because I've never even heard his voice.
Yeah.
So, and big dude, tats, I mean, he's very intimidating force, you know.
Yeah.
And he comes up and he just grabs me and hugs me,
Yeah.
like to the point where I'm almost out of breath, and just starts saying like, thank you, brother, blah, 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 you know, Jesus, blah. I mean, he is just talking 100 miles an hour. And I'm kind of speechless because I don't know what to do in this moment. You know, I'm just kind of standing there. And
Because it's just sheer gratitude, right?
gratitude
and, he's like
and
hugging you like,
and also I'm kind of in awe of the whole situation because I've just never seen something like this where you have people coming in and we're all sharing the gospel. And there's a point where it's kind of a funny fear that I had at first. I was like, we're all going to be playing basketball, but like, are they going to carry shanks? Is there possibly I could get killed in this place?
you've seen too many prison movies.
Yeah. And, you know, and it was great. It was great. And what was cool about the whole ministry was like, it's a day to just be normal. You're playing basketball with your boys. You're hanging out. You're just
Yeah.
having good times. You're all trash talking, you know, doing those things. And I got into playing basketball for the first like 10, 15 minutes and finally got into it. I was like, oh, okay, we're all just playing basketball. Like,
Yeah.
this isn't like...
We're not in prison.
We ran
just-
this little small tournament, stuff like that. And we go eat, and I'm sitting at a table eating with CJ and then 3 other guys. And CJ knows all these guys, and all these guys are from the same area of Houston. And it's just kind of a moment where I'm like, oh my gosh, like this is crazy. And I'm hearing some of these guys' stories. And some of these stories, because we're just kind of going around asking why, you know, kind of what brought them here, why they're in the program, stuff like that. And I'm hearing stuff that I've participated in or I've done that just didn't go that far or
Right.
didn't, you know, escalate to that point. And I'm like,
Or you
man.
didn't get caught.
Yeah, or didn't get caught. And it was just like a moment of like, oh my gosh, like how one turn left, one turn right. I'm
Yeah,
sitting at
one
this
decision.
table.
Yeah.
I'm sitting at this table with these guys right now.
Yeah.
Because, you
You
know,
realizing
involuntary
you're no
manslaughter,
different.
driving drunk,
Yeah.
you know, or something like that. Anyway, so we're talking, we all get to know each other, and then we do the church service. And then we just pray over each other, I'm fast tracking a lot. This was a whole day of stuff. It was very emotional. But, me and CJ are just praying over each other and just like fully embracing each other, like brothers who have never met.
Yeah.
It was some of the parts of like the New Testament letters and stuff of people who are writing letters to each other and then finally meet or something. It's really kind of just one of those moments. And I walk away from that fully invested in this family now.
Yeah.
And it's almost like a moment where I'm like, okay, and it's just like in hindsight now we look back at it, we have a little bit more idea about it. But in that time we were like, okay, God has called us here for some reason.
Yeah.
What if God has called us just to have this life group, just for this family, to not only heal them, but to heal us too through this whole process, right?
1,000%.
And
Also, one of the things that CJ said to you that I think is really powerful, because remember when I was telling you, like, you need to reach out to CJ because another man is speaking life into his wife's life. CJ's response to that was so beautiful. He goes, I've been praying for you.
yeah.
I've
Oh,
been
yeah.
praying for God to send my
someone,
wife
someone
a person to tell her about Jesus like I can't.
Yeah.
Because she's not listening to me.
Yeah.
So he did not take it
Yeah.
as he was not offended. He was like, nope, this is the story God has. I've been praying for you, which gets me emotional because he could have been prideful, right? And you'll hear CJ, if you ever hear his story, and there's one on YouTube, and hopefully we can link it in the description to his testimony, because it's like really amazing. He talks about being a spiritual millionaire.
Yeah.
And like how free he was in prison.
Yeah.
When he found the Lord. And so he could have been so angry that you were in there. He could have been, not about you, but he could have been so angry at his wife, right? Like, oh, you're going to listen to him and not me. But he loved his wife so much, and he loves Jesus even more, that he was in a state of gratefulness. He was like, oh, actually, no, you're an answer to my prayers.
Yeah.
God sends somebody to my wife to speak into her.
Yeah.
And you were that. And I was a part of it too, obviously. And it worked out the way that it should have. And my discernment was right, for you to reach out to CJ. But it wasn't, everything worked out the way God really wanted it to. And so moving here started to make a whole lot of sense.
It did, yeah.
Rita was able to let her family know she was actually married to CJ. They accepted it, started coming to our life group. So it was literally Rita's family and CJ's family, a part of our life group. So we're like, okay, this is why we're here in Houston. And then also during this time, we get a phone call from my sister who's pregnant with her second child. And we were so excited to get the phone call this day because it was the day she was finding out the gender. So she calls, and I'm like so excited. I'm like, we're on speakerphone. What's the news? What are you having? You having another boy, or is this one a girl? And I just felt in my spirit that it was a girl. And they don't sound as happy, right, when they're telling us this news. And I'm like, what's the matter? And she's like, well, first we'll tell you the good news. And I'm like, okay. And I get a pit in my stomach. And she's like, we're having a girl, and we're all excited. And then my sister starts to get quiet and hold back some tears. I'm like, what's the matter, Kellyanne? And she's like, well, she's not healthy. She's got a severe heart defect. And they don't even know if I should continue the pregnancy. And that is like devastating, right? So we're all praying, and we're like, okay, we're going to obviously support whatever decision obviously we all are pro-life, right? So, but if there's a medical condition that would hurt my sister or that the baby wouldn't live through, obviously, we'll support whatever medical decision needs to be made. But Kellyanne and Chase are like, nope, we're going to trust in God and we're going to have this baby. And they have lots of appointments, at Texas Children's and things like that she's going to have the baby at the women's pavilion. And then we find out, like, there's another reason that we moved to Houston. They had to live with us because we were the closest. They live in a small town that we've already mentioned, Bay City, but actually Van Vleck, which is even smaller. I know Gerald razzed on Bay City in some earlier episodes, but so we were only 25 minutes away from the hospital. And so they moved in with us the last few weeks before the pregnancy because, very high risk. No one really knew what to expect. With Bryn being born, her name's Bryn Faith. And so without getting all into that story, because I think it would be cool to have them on to share that story. But it's just that I mention it now because this was all happening too at the same time of why God moved us to Houston, because we were a space for them. We had just, built that house and had the room for them to have their own space and live with us. And that way we could help take care of Brody while they were at appointments and after birth. And it was just really beautiful the way God worked out, because it's not only did CJ and Rita need us, and I guess I'm just going to be emotional over all the next episodes, need us, but then my sister and her family needed us. And we were able to really step into that role for them, to be this open door. They can come and go as they need. They have a safe place to drop their child off and leave. And I mean, Zayden and Brody were great. They were so close in age. Gerald doing bath night with them, and it's just like a big family under.
Well, it put some normalcy to their.
It did. It put some normalcy.
Time. Because we're able to cook suppers and have things like that.
Because we lived in that rent house for 3 or 4 months, and we would not have had the space for them. And our house was finished literally right before they had to move in with us. So God, perfectly timed out every single step in Houston for us. And it was far greater than we could imagine. And yes, we were isolated those first couple of months there. But what he did was bring on such community for us, and for it to be part of Rita and CJ's story. And
well, I think too, as we'll get more into both those situations, there's a lot to both those stories.
A lot.
In both those situations, and in the Antioch story.
Yes.
But the thing is that kind of how we started it. It's kind of how I reminded someone, again, at the workplace. This was a different person, but kind of going back and forth about just what they want to do in life, right? And I just reminded them, someone could be waiting for you to make this decision.
Yes.
Someone's waiting on, if there's something you're wrestling with, you feel like God's calling you to do, God is usually pushing us to deeper relationships and deeper meaning in what we're doing with God. And to do that, we have to keep pushing forward.
Right.
We can't stay stagnant. We can't stay in one place. We can't just stand and not make a decision.
Right.
And I think that's where... You
can't ignore the call God has on your life. You can't ignore that discernment, because it's there for a reason.
Yeah. And it's just like me pushing, I want Zayden to experience life, but I don't want him to. But I want him to because I know he has to.
Right.
Because someone's waiting on him to do what he's got to do in his life too. Which makes me sad, but not a sad way I'm sad for him. It's a happy thing, but it's almost it's kind of like junior high football just ended, right?
Yeah.
For Zayden. And there's some relationships there that aren't going to be the same that are done.
Yeah.
And it's well, that's okay though. We had those relationships to the point we are going into a new season, a new journey now.
Yeah.
New relationships, new people that we're going to interact with. And that's where, I think this whole podcast, this episode really comes down to is like, when we're thinking about the relationships and different things, there's so many people waiting on what you have to offer for them. Mm-hmm. Because there's things that, just like you were saying, CJ said, I was in the right place of obedience, hurt, pain, going through my own stuff to be able to sit in front of Rita and be like, yeah, there's no judgment here. I'm as screwed up as you are. I'm just now figuring this out. I'm like three clicks down the road and you're just like right there. And I think that's where whenever people walk a path along, it's kind of like what we say, some people have a BS meter. Mm-hmm. And there's some people where I can talk and I'm like, bro, like you're saying all the right words.
But you're so full of it.
But you haven't been broken yet.
Right.
And when you feel that brokenness, you're going to be a powerful tool. But until then, you're just playing a game.
Yep.
You're just playing a part. You're playing a character right now.
Yep.
And it's not authentic. And if there's nothing in our world people are after right now, it's authenticity. It's like, say things to people's face. Mm-hmm. Like, we don't need emails. We don't need text messages. We don't need all this stuff like this.
We don't need unfriending on social media because
real
you disagree.
Conversations. Yeah, just real conversations about real things.
Have a conversation with me.
And let's not have our feelings hurt. And believe me, I'm speaking in the mirror sometimes with that because I get my feelings hurt a lot.
Yeah.
But I have to check myself. And usually when we're talking in the marriage aspect, it's you and me checking each other. It's like, why are you upset with it? Is it hitting something you're really dealing with right now?
Yeah,
is that why you're upset?
Right.
Or why are you so offended about this?
Yeah. And we do have to ask those questions because we're on the same team, right? Yeah. Normally when we bring something up, it's not to offend the other, it's to check the other because it's like, that's what we're here to do. I can't just allow you to go off the deep end on something that doesn't need to be going off. And the same with you. Like, you have to check me, I have to check you, and it's always out of love.
You're the drama. And I'm the calm. No.
No. Most of the time.
Most of the time. No, but seriously, it's a well-equipped team, and that's where I think when we talk from the marriage aspect, I always like to kind of wrap it around with something like that. It's like, if you allow yourself to go on a really fun journey with your spouse, not letting all the fear in the world kind of cripple you.
Yeah.
Like, most marriages have some pretty rough stuff they've already dealt with. But if we can get over those hiccups, like once you kind of get over that, and you are still in this place of like, quote unquote, I still do, like I'm still with you, like we're still rolling with this.
Well, because we're still a team, and at the end of the day, you have my best interest and I have your best interest, and we always have to remember that. Yeah. My goal is never to offend you or to upset you. My goal is to make you aware. I love you way too much to let you keep making mistakes that are dumb. Mm-hmm. You love me way too much to let me keep making mistakes that are dumb, right? So most of the time when emotions get heightened, it's because you're right. And we're offended because you're right, not because you're wrong. Yeah. Because it's like,
and you're like hitting on something that's correct. And that goes down to anything. Like, if just like we've talked about, like kind of, we went very quickly over, going back into pornography, getting over that. Like that was a time, and I had to like say something. I had to do something, right? You dealing with your stuff, like you're dealing with still PCOS and all this stuff is happening in you, and you're still we're having all these kind of things going on in our lives right now. We're trying to parent, we're trying to stress.
Yeah. And I'm having to use the tools that I learned for the anxiety I had the first time that was debilitating, to where it's creeping up again, right, in Houston, because it's, again, uncharted territory. But now I have the tools, and I have to use those tools so that I'm not going to the ER thinking I'm having heart attacks. I'm, like, able to, like, study my breathing and focus on things that are real and get through those heart palpitations, right? Because that's what God had taught me to do.
I think we'll get into more of some of those practicals in some later episodes about kind of walking through some of that. But for sure. But as we kind of close this one up,
Yeah.
I think it's just more or less encouraging people to
say yes to what God
say
has
yes to
for
what
you,
God's calling
because
you to do.
it's going to be greater than you can imagine.
Mm-hmm.
And you're sometimes when he calls you to do things, yes, you are going to have to go through things you don't want to, maybe loneliness or isolation or
And if you've
frustration.
if you listen to all of our episodes, you see where I was saying yes, you were saying no. You were saying yes, I was saying no. It's like there was a back and forth, but whenever it starts to unify, you're like, wait a minute. Whenever you start dealing with your crap in your marriage and you start being really honest and authentic and transparent with each other, the yeses become very clear. Like, oh yeah, we're on the same team. We're doing this regardless of how crazy people think we are around us right now. We're going to go do this.
Exactly.
Because just like you said, there were situations waiting on us. Mm-hmm. God was like,
situations.
Yeah, you're going because
like massive situations.
I need you to inject yourself into this situation, in this situation, in this situation. Because I need you to use it. But if you're not going to do it, I'll find someone else to do it. But this is what I want you to do, right?
Right.
So maybe that's where we end it today. Just
say yes. Trust God.
Yes, Man, the movie. That's an awesome movie.
But also know God will always call you together, not apart. So you will both, if one person does have a yes and one person has a no, then it's probably a no.
That's when you go back to prayer.
That's when you go back to prayer and you reconvene and see, because God is not going to call a marriage apart.
Because I wanted to move to China. We moved to Houston.
I did not.
So that was a happy medium. So, okay,
gosh, so funny.
God, we're so thankful for this day, this time together. Thankful for this podcast. Thankful for the people just taking time to listen to this. And I just pray for these messages and these stories to resonate in a way, Lord, where it just glorifies you and encourages people, Lord, to just keep pressing into their relationship with God, pressing into their relationship with their spouse, and just pressing into, if they don't have a spouse, just living their life and just looking to you for what that looks like for them in their future. We thank you, Jesus, for the things you do and the opportunities you give us. Amen.
God, you are so good and so faithful, and we are just so honored to follow you, and so honored even when we feel afraid or confused or not even understanding why we're saying yes. But that's where our faith comes in, because we trust you, because we know that you're always going to have our best interest. You always know better than we do, and you always go before us. And Lord, we are so grateful for that. So I just thank you for every listener out there. I ask that you meet their every need, Lord, and that there's people out there right now, use this as their sign, like, should I say yes to what you're calling me to do? And let this be that yes, Lord, because you speak through anything and everything, and we're so grateful that you communicate with us so well. We just thank you, God, for what you're doing in us and through us all. We honor you, we praise you, and we ask all these things in your loving name. Amen.
Amen.
Bye.
See you.
Thanks so much for listening to I Still Do. If you enjoyed today's episode, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share it with your friends. We'd also love to hear from you, so if you have any questions or even a story you'd like to share with us to get our advice on, please feel free to send us an email at geraldandtabby@istilldopodcast.com. Until next time, keep choosing love and each other, because we still do.